There are things you can do that are very powerful without being in front of people. And I'll give you an example. We have a client who has a financial services call center. We didn't do any training for 60 days. All we did is Monday, Wednesday, Friday is we sent them inspirational videos to their desktop. Our productivity went up 31%. Never asked them a question. We just fueled their minds. Because here's the thing. Business is tough. You guys put in a lot of hours. As an entrepreneur, I put in a lot of hours, but no one really knows unless you live it. So the more we can have greater clarity and the more we can understand where our people are coming from, the better position we're going to be in to help them. No one gets up in the morning and says, honey, I gotta get into work. There's going to be a really good dose of constructive feedback waiting for me when I get in. And so what do people do when their numbers are down? Do they stand up and say, I got to tell you, I'm a terrible salesperson. You should probably can me now that I'm thinking out loud. What do? We hide. There are great people who have average numbers. There are some people who have good numbers that could really improve their selling. One of the worst things I saw at one of our client sites, his numbers were through the roof. The owner of the business thought he had a great sales team. We turned it over 100% in 36 months and numbers went up. But I want you to think about each and every one of you are a coach and you're coaching every single day. You're coaching people every single day. Coaching is a form of messaging. When you're not engaged, you're coaching people to leave. When you're not asking questions, you're telling people you don't care. It may not be your intent, and I know we're busy, but I want you to think about those things. So salespeople don't like change. Most people don't like change. Most people don't like to look in the mirror and say, you know what, I'm not as good as what I can be. So our job as coaches and leaders is to make that easy for them. To ask questions, find out what they do well, find out where they have opportunities to improve. You don't do that by always rhetorically telling them what they need to fix. You find out why they're doing that. So you get a little bit closer to what they need to improve. So when you sit down with a salesperson who's at 72% of goal and you look at him and say, you know, you got to raise your sales. Don't they already know that? So what happens is we want to condition people. When your kids' grades are low, what do? You tell them to study more. They know that. So part of coaching is finding out why, asking questions. It's not just spending time with people and building relationships. It's really about driving and understanding so you're better positioned to help somebody out. We label people, and here's why I know that. I've gotten countless calls, and I'll share one with you that's from Monsanto. Get a manager who calls me and says, Tim, I got a guy. It's about 2-3 years away from retirement. Can you really coach people like that? I mean, I wanted to say, no, shoot him. I mean, what am I supposed to say? I teach coaching? Yeah, I'd give up on him. I mean, I would call his wife, just get the funeral services now. We'll just work ahead of the process. But one of the things I crafted for this guy on the phone is I said, what I want you to do is go and ask him why. He's not engaged, he's not paying attention. Ask the questions. Don't try to change him. And we asked some fundamental questions. And he said, I've done this before. I've been through a ton of these trainings. I don't want to do it anymore. And so what we asked him is a really weird question. You're walking out of corporate, you're going to your car, you got a box in your hands, and everybody's describing you at the windows. What do you want them to say about you? The guy immediately says, I did a good day's work. I was loyal to Monsanto. I've been here, I think it was like 23 years at this time. I'm dedicated, I knew the products, and I took care of my customers. Instead of telling him, the manager looked back at him and said, how are you going to make sure that's exactly what we say about you from now until the day you retire? The manager calls me and goes, instant change. It wasn't instant, but he felt it was an instant change. He looked at things differently. The second question you should always be asking yourself is, are people more or less inspired after interacting with you? A lot of times we have impacts on people we don't even know, present company included, and I battle it. I don't lack confidence. I'm pretty high strung. I'm an advertisement for Ritalin. I know all my pitfalls. But the problem is we're perceived certain ways. And when we ask questions, when we clarify, when we invest in other people, they'll invest in themselves. So what I want you to think about is, are people more or less inspired after you interact with them? The difference between managers and coaches, managers command, demand, yell, and tell. Coaches ask, listen, clarify, and pursue performance with their people.